This technique is really gonna catch them for you. Dylan, get the net. Quickly. It's a giant. Come on, quickly. Good job, buddy. Good job. All right.
Look at that.
Look at it. Yeah. If you want to see more of the technique, I'll add a couple more fish catches at the end of the video. Today, I'm going to talk to you about a way to fish a crankbait that I think is by far the best way to fish it, but nobody talks about it. So there's two parts to this system, the retrieve and the bait. So with the retrieve, there's gonna be a few ways you're gonna do it. You're gonna make small little twitches with the reel handle and pause. You're going to pull the bait a little bit and pause, or you're gonna make small twitches and jerks and pause. It's sort of like using a jerk bait but with a crankbait. If you're fishing it around cover, the most important time to pause is as soon as you feel it connect to the cover and you pause it. Today we literally have horrible conditions and this technique killed it. Post front, bluebird skies, muddy water, cold front, north wind at 15 to 25 miles an hour. I mean, it's everything in the textbook you don't want to see. It's definitely not a day to be fishing a crankbait. But the retrieve and what you do to this crankbait makes all the difference. So the most important thing about the bait is it needs to be a slow float crankbait. You can either do this by weighting the bait with lead strips, putting on larger hooks, which if you're fishing around cover though, you're probably gonna get hung up, or use something like this Berkley Frittside, which is really slow float. The past few years, I've really fallen in love with this Frittside, especially in the pre-spawn when the water's a little bit colder. But the thing about the Frittside is it's a flat side bait, right? So if the fish want a different type of vibration and wobble, you'll have to use a rounded body crankbait and weight it so it slow floats. There's no other options. So you could use any type of crankbait for this, but I really like this Frittside and I really like a square bill crankbait. I don't think a lot of bass are seeing a square bill or a Frittside coming through stuff, pausing and suspending. A lot of times it's floating away from the fish, and I don't think that's a good trigger. They've got to want to go chase it down if you're using a high float crankbait and you're hitting something and it's immediately floating back. That's the key to this, is it's a suspended bait pretty much, or super slow float. In the summer around grass, I like the Megabass Deep X 200. I will put the larger hooks on it and it will make it suspend. And even though it's a super slow float, the grass isn't as sticky as like the wood cover. Or I'll use the Frittside, I think it's a 9 with the larger bill, and I'll run that through the grass. I've had great days shallow with a DT4 around grass and docks. I mean, guys, this is unlimited with whatever kind of crankbait you really like. I'm just giving you a few of my favorites that are straight up go-tos and catch them. So as far as where to fish this bait, I'll tell you it works everywhere, even in open water. But my favorite times are early spring and throughout the fall. I would concentrate on laydowns, isolated stumps, emergent grass, docks, riprap. That's where these fish, especially in the pre-spawn, are gonna stage. It's really similar to fishing a jerkbait, but your crankbait comes through everything like a 4x4. That's the whole difference. You go throw a Megabass Vision 110 into a laydown and see what happens. It ain't coming out. So I think it's a great alternative, especially when guys are throwing jerkbaits. One, it's a different profile, and two, the way that it suspends and comes through cover, I don't think the larger bass want to chase something down. So the fact that this comes through and stops, it just gives that big bass an opportunity to bite it, instead of something that's just flying through and they don't really want to chase something down, especially when conditions are tough. So I really think that bigger fish, they like that pause and that suspend. All right, guys, please like and subscribe. I'm giving you some juicy information right here. Trust in this technique. Go out and mess around with it, especially if it's a tough day. And I'm telling you, you will catch them up.